Being still is very important. Our world goes by very fast. Our lives go by very fast. It's very, very hard to perceive and understand. It depends on how you view life, really. You need to have some level of stillness that you need to implement in your life or in your routine in order to process where you've been going, how you have been handling your life, where have you been taking it, have other people been taking you in certain directions, are your vices, are your teachers, are your parents, are the people that you work with, do they take you in directions that you don't want to be? Does the world morph you, or do you navigate the world and morph the world around you and what you would like to do? So we need to be very intentional about how we implement stillness. What I like to do is just sit with myself, just do nothing really, sit there, do nothing, and people will laugh and be like, oh, you're this, you're that, it's being lazy. No. Yes, do the things that you need to do, because what else would you reflect on? You can't reflect on nothing. You need to do things to reflect on them. You need to live a life that's worth reflecting on, that's in-depth enough to where you can't just look at it from the surface. There needs to be more things going on, more interactions happening. Get out there, do what you like, and then come down and then compress. But I'm mostly directing these to people who have probably had way too many things happen to them in a small amount of time. And that's most of us, really. We grow up, we go straight to school, move from one year to the next, do one exam to the next, get to college, get to university, get to our first job. It's tough. It's tough, but again, that's not the problem. The problem is that we don't sit down and reflect. If we're moving from one thing to the next, we're allowing to move through the maze that has been made for us, and we're not questioning why, and we're not wondering, is this the right thing to do? Then, unfortunately, you get stuck sometimes. There's no reflection happening. There's no intention behind our actions. There's just one stimulus to behavior. We're just pressing a lever, whether that lever is moving or doing or eating or sleeping. We need to be very intentional with our living, right? Where are we going? What would we like to do? So being still is very important for that. And being still will allow you to move out of these impulses, whether it's to binge on junk food, or whether it's to say the wrong thing, or say something that is from the mind and not really from intention, and there's not a lot of thought put behind that word. So being still is very important in every moment of life. Just being here and now, looking at your feet, looking at your surroundings, breathing the air, feeling your feet. This is all very important stuff that we don't really do enough. We don't really teach our children. We don't really teach our members of society. But that's because we've been told to listen to others and not to pay attention to ourselves. Bro, we are the biggest instrument of all time. We are the biggest learning machine of all time. We're the most complex thing, the most complex computer, the most complex information storage unit that we have, right? Forget hard drives, forget SSDs, forget SD cards, forget anything. We need to work on that. People are like, how did you remember something? Or how do you remember this? How do you remember that? I remembered it because you can too. You just have to, somehow figure out the workings of your brain and of your life. And this all comes from stillness, because stillness causes awareness, right? You get aware of what you usually aren't being aware of because you're rushing after the next thing. You can't be still if you're going after the next thing. It's because we're all scared. We're all in a panic. We don't want to die. We want to do everything we want to do, and we want to do it in as quick as time as possible. And this shallow thinking that a lot of people have, whether you're young or old, is what's ruining the world. It's what is ruining people's lives. Is this short-term thinking, just impulse, immediate action. And I think we've eventually come to this state this way, whether it's natural to us and it's happened over time, or whether the things we've built around us and the structures that we've built for us have almost conditioned us to be this way. So it's very interesting to look at. But what can you do? Now you know this, what can you do? What you can do is do nothing, right? Just sit. Sit. You can even do this while walking. You can even do this, what I'm doing right now. Having a conversation with yourself in your head and deeply analyzing where you are, what would you like to do, who you are, what have you done today, how did that impact, you've got to self-reflect.